3 friends, 1 deadline, and a shared project that had been sitting completely untouched for 11 straight days, right up until the night before it was due, when suddenly everyone had incredible amounts of energy for it at once, fueled mostly by panic. None of us were lazy, not really. That was the strange part. We all worked hard on plenty of things, showed up on time, finished other tasks without any drama at all. We just had one specific, recurring problem. The moment something actually mattered, the moment it had real weight and consequences behind it, we'd all quietly find 17 other things that suddenly needed doing first, none of which mattered nearly as much. I used to think procrastination meant something was wrong with my discipline, some personal failure I just hadn't gotten around to fixing yet. Turns out that's mostly not true, and it took me embarrassingly long to actually believe it. Procrastination isn't really about laziness at all. Most of the research on it points somewhere else entirely, toward managing uncomfortable feelings in the moment, like anxiety or self-doubt, rather than managing time itself. The first thing was the 2-minute rule, and it sounds almost too small to matter at all. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, you do it the instant it appears, no scheduling it for later, no adding it quietly to a list that just grows. The trick isn't really about the 2 minutes themselves. It's that starting is usually the actual barrier, not the task itself. And once you're already moving, momentum tends to carry you further than you expected going in. Maya found the second one: temptation bundling. Pairing something she'd been avoiding with something she genuinely enjoyed, so the two only happened together, never separately, ever. Her dreaded task was answering old emails, so now she only allows herself a specific favorite podcast episode while doing exactly that, and only while doing that. The emails stopped feeling like a wall to climb over, because they'd quietly become the price of admission for something she actually wanted anyway. Derek's method was the one none of us expected to matter as much as it turned out to. Eating the frog first, doing the single worst task of the day before anything else, before checking messages, before easing in gently with something easier and more comfortable. Most people save the hardest thing for later in the day, when willpower has already been spent on a dozen smaller decisions nobody even notices making. Derek flipped it, tackling the worst task while his energy was still completely fresh, and everything after that point felt noticeably lighter by comparison, almost like a reward. Method 4 is the 10-minute deal, and it's the fastest fix to actually put into practice starting today. Instead of committing to finish an entire dreaded task, you only commit to 10 honest minutes of it, with full permission to stop the moment the timer runs out. Almost nobody actually stops once they hit that mark. The real barrier was never finishing the task, it was starting it in the first place, and 10 minutes is small enough that even a tired, resistant brain can't come up with a convincing excuse to skip it entirely. None of these 4 methods required more discipline, more raw willpower, or becoming a fundamentally different kind of person who simply doesn't struggle with this the way the rest of us do. A 2-minute task done immediately instead of postponed once again. A dreaded task paired with something you actually want to do anyway. The worst task tackled first, while your energy is still genuinely there. Just 10 honest minutes instead of facing the whole overwhelming thing at once. The project still got finished the night before that one time. The same as always, panic and all. But the 11 empty days before it didn't happen again the month after. And that's really the part that changed for good. Pick one of these 4, use it on the very next thing you've been quietly avoiding, and see how far just 10 honest minutes actually gets you.